Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Hey everyone, welcome. Go ahead and just settle in for a moment. Take a nice, comfortable breath and let go of whatever rush you've been dealing with today. I am so glad you're here with us. Today we're taking a deeply contemplative journey into the teachings of KSW 643. We're going to be exploring some really profound concepts about the architecture of the human soul, our ultimate universal destination, and the hidden purpose behind our everyday existence. We're definitely going to take our time with this, just moving gently so these vast cosmic ideas have plenty of space to unfold. Okay, let's dive right into this deeply fascinating material.
Now, I want you to pause for a second and really think about this. When you close your eyes at night, when your physical body finally goes to sleep, where exactly do you go? We all have dreams, right? Sometimes we visit the same places, see the same faces, or even reunite with people who have long passed on. But is that just a random firing of neurons in the brain, or is there a much deeper, universal journey happening while you're resting?
So here is our peaceful little roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the universal double life, then explore body, knowledge, and soul. After that, we'll look at the myth of accidents, the loop of infinity, the ethos of Mitra, and finally, your universal destination.
All right, Section 1, the universal double life.
You know, behind the veil of our sleep, our soul isn't just wandering around randomly. Instead, it's actually actively paying a visit or paying homage to its final universal destination. Think of it kind of like a bird meticulously building a nest for when its time in the physical world comes to an end. Every single night, while your physical body rests in bed, your soul is out there placing another brick, another stick, another soft feather in the exact place where it will eventually reside. You're literally preparing your future home, making sure that you don't step out of this life and become, as the source text calls it, homeless in the universe.
Moving smoothly along to Section 2, body, knowledge, and soul.
Just to keep us perfectly grounded here, let's gently define two really crucial acronyms that pop up throughout the source material. The first one is STM, which stands for the soul of the man. This is your eternal, spiritual entity. The second is STP, or the soul of physicality. This represents the energy, the essence, and the attachment of your physical body. Understanding the intricate dance between the STM and the STP is absolutely key to unlocking this entire philosophy.
Now, the text uses a pretty unconventional analogy, a triangle made up of a husband, a wife, and a mistress, to explain this duality. Let's just look at it objectively for a moment. In this metaphor, the wife represents our physicality, the part of us that stays firmly planted in the physical dimension, just resting in bed. The mistress represents the eternal soul and its true universal destination, where it travels at night. And the husband represents knowledge. Knowledge is the bridge. It travels between both worlds, sharing information and ensuring that whatever is experienced in the physical world is communicated to the soul, and vice versa. It's such a vivid way to explain how we lead this double life without even consciously realizing it.
Which brings us to Section 3, the myth of accidents.
According to this teaching, true accidents simply do not exist in the way we usually think they do. Departures from this life are never ever truly random. A natural death is described as a gradual transition. It's like taking weekend trips over time to find a beautiful house, slowly preparing the nest until you're completely ready to move. An accidental death, on the other hand, is likened to an emergency exit. It's like having to pack all your bags overnight and move suddenly because of a threat. But here's the beautiful part. In both scenarios, the text emphasizes that the destination has already been agreed upon and fully accepted by the soul.
There is a quote from the source material that I find to be profoundly comforting. It's all planned by the soul, and like a puppet on a string, your physicality follows. Whether it's what we perceive as a sudden, tragic accident or just the natural fading of old age, the physical body is ultimately guided by the soul's deeper, incredibly vast plan. The soul has already RSVP'd yes to its new cosmic home.
All right, Section 4, the loop of infinity. During the original teaching, the speaker actually took a moment to sketch out what's called the loop of infinity, which looks like a figure 8. This shape perfectly represents the intricate, continuous flow of energy and the shifting balance of power between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality over the course of our lives.
Let's slowly walk through how this loop operates chronologically. In the baby stage, physicality spreads out and grows, while the soul starts out small in physical size. As life goes on, we reach a point of equalization where the two fields balance each other out. But eventually, we hit step 3, the saturation point. This is when the physicality has consumed and gathered just a bit too much earthly energy. It pushes this energy over to the soul until the soul becomes incredibly strong. Strong enough, as step 4 shows, to finally depart its physical vessel and launch to its universal destiny, almost like a shooting star.
And this whole process is governed by a beautifully simple concept called the law of plasma. It dictates that in the universe, it is strength that counts, not physical size. Even though the eternal soul might seem physically smaller or completely unseen compared to our tangible bodies, it acts as a dense, concentrated center of power. As the physical body lives and experiences things, it feeds strength into the soul, loading it up until it holds this immense, concentrated power capable of launching it to its final destination.
Which leads to this absolutely staggering realization. Just like ancient reptiles have this natural instinct to shed their skin or consciously drop a tail to escape a threat, the teaching suggests that humans have a deeply buried latent ability to consciously decide the exact time of our own soul's departure. We actually once had the ability to separate the physical from the spiritual smoothly, without any suffering, knowing precisely when our nest in the universe was fully ready for us.
Section 5, the ethos of Mitra.
So, how do we get back to that? The answer provided in the source is breathtakingly simple, though definitely challenging in practice. It requires aligning our physical lives with what is called the ethos of Mitra. This basically means choosing to live completely without deception or lies. It means avoiding cheating, violence, and actively stopping ourselves from committing wrongs. By purifying our physical actions, we remove the static and all those heavy barriers. We align our physical body with our spiritual energy, using pure emotion as the ultimate cosmic catalyst to bridge the gap. The practical application of this pure emotion is so fascinating. When you purify your conduct and harness an emotion like deep, genuine love, you stop being a passive dreamer. You can actually master your dreams. You can literally put your head on your pillow with a pure, joyous desire to see a departed loved one, say a parent or a grandparent, and consciously arrange a meeting with them in the universal dimensions. Your soul uses that pure emotional catalyst to travel exactly where you intended to go.
And finally, Section 6, your universal destination. Really understanding this cosmic connection to something deeply liberating. It completely frees us from the fear and the heavy suffering of the physical world. When we live ethically and align our inner and outer worlds, the text suggests we transform into what are called the children of Mitra. We become seamlessly integrated into the universal energy, fully capable of manifesting in other dimensions. We are no longer restricted by the heavy anchor of physicality, but flowing freely out into the stars and galaxies.
I just want to share this quote with you and really let the weight of it settle in. Even the Creator is on the journey of souls in the vast dimension of the unicos. You are never alone in this process. Everything, from the smallest blade of grass to the Creator of the universe itself, is a part of this grand, continuous journey of movement, discovery, and beautiful energetic evolution.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to just peacefully mull over today. The text mentions that the universal home you are building right now sits like a boat on the river of the universe, and it is your daily conduct that determines which direction it flows. So I have to ask you, how is your daily conduct steering your boat? Are your everyday actions and your pure emotions carrying you beautifully toward your ultimate cosmic destination? Thank you so much for taking this gentle, unhurried journey with me today. Take care of yourselves and, of course, your eternal souls.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 644th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 28th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops ongoing for well over a decade. And once again, we have the honor of having Mr. Mehran Keshe as our main presenter and teacher here today. And I'm sure, as usual, he is ready, willing, and able to present. So please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, and we hope you will enjoy the trip of the soul this time. And we'll see what we need, what we learn, and what we have in store. As we're developing to understand the process of the soul of the man, position of the soul of the man, and every other thing to do with our energy side, the side we ignored, we go back, step back, and understand more about the process. The way the soul of physicality feeds the soul of the man for it to mature, to find its time, place, and destination. In the larger scale, the soul of the man is the soul of physicality, as we said, of the planet. Which means the soul of the solar system, which is the star of it, which is in the center of it, becomes what we are working for. It becomes the next line to the dimension of the creator. But how do we, as individuals, individual souls, individual what we call structures, participate in shaping the soul of the creator? How do we become part of what we thought we are none of? And what would happen to us as a human race? There is a conscious understanding that there is 9 billion of us living an extremely fragile life on this planet. A car, earthquake, tsunami, a meteorite can bring this and that for one, for many, or for all the systems of this planet. The reality is, what would we leave? What will happen to the soul of the humanity? As much as we are a soul of individual person as we are that cell in the womb of the solar system, like the womb of the mother, spreading, multiplying, creating more cells for the soul to be created of a life in the universe. In a way, when our soul departs our physicality, it carries a number of RNAs with no DNA till it finds its physical dimension. One of the loads on this RNA is the information of the soul of the man. It's a man. And it's got these characteristics. Then we carry the RNA of the what we call the earth with us, uploaded on top of, within the structure of the plasma of the soul of the man. On top of that, we carry the RNA of the information of the star, the solar system we are in, and then to the galaxy, and then the universe. And then we become part of the universe. In a way, even though we think we are alone in a room, locked up, crying our eyes out, I'm alone, nobody loves me, you're actually part of a massive structure, which is like that cell on the blood of the man, which is moving around, doing itself. It's just I'm a cell, I'm moving around, I'm doing something. It's the body of the man. Even though you're sick, you're unemployed, you're a doctor, you have all the titles on this planet, you as a energy, as a soul, are part of the bigger structure. You're carrying the DNA of the man in a physical dimension on the sick bed, but you carry the RNA of the whole universe in your journeys in the universe. So when a man's soul appears at a certain position with the people who understand the knowledge of the universe, they can say, this is a man, comes from planet Earth, from the solar system, from such a thing. We identify stars and galaxies from the other galaxies and everything else in the physical dimension we see. But then see the energy side, the dimension of us, exactly the same. There is a trick in conformation of physicality. In the physical body, we call it the gravitational field of the earth, which is the soul. And then the trick is this thingy which you have never thought about, inertia. Without the inertia, there is no manifestation of the gravitational field of the earth. Without the soul of physicality, there is no manifestation of the soul of the man, and the same without the soul of the man, there is no manifestation of the planet and the rest of it. So it comes to us, we are all connected. And if one goes wrong, the rest of the structure shakes on the top, become the story of the building of the pizza. Nobody sees nothing wrong, but under the ground there's a weak soil which gives the whole thing to the wrong side. And that soft soil is the conduct of the man. This is why we go back to the ethos of Mitra. Do good, think good, act good. But you have to understand, Mitra wasn't the first one. There are many Mitras before Mitra. It's a concept of understanding the process of the creation. The problem with the man is if you can copy it and wipe it out, nobody knows what you copied. It becomes original you. And this lies within the soul of the man. And then it carries down and it becomes worse and worse and worse as more and more copies of the wrong thing are created, as we see in the dimension of the creation of the man. If you look, for example, in Christianity, the virgin birth and everything else, which goes with the 12 disciples and everything else, goes back to Mitra, and it goes back to the other one, and the other one, it goes back to 7,000 years. Christians or the Romans had the money to wipe out the story of the ones before, but they could not wipe out what they said to do. And then what the creators, a Pope and the Vatican and the rest of it, washed everything out the way it looked. Conquerors always write their own story. And this is how your soul is. Once it's imprinted the wrong way, it goes wrong, doesn't matter how many generations, how many other souls you share your soul with, your energy with, and the fourth wise. So you have to understand, as knowledge seekers, this is not teaching of the ethos. This is the teaching of you, yourself, your physical dimension and your energy dimension. And where you bring this to be as part of the understanding of your own creation and not separated, that one day will do. I was talking just before the teaching with Rick, but I tell you another joke which is coming up, which is really funny, and is circling around. When are we going to see robot priests? Now, what can a robot teach about ethics? What soul does it carry for it to teach the human race about the Creator? Then you understand how fragile the life of the man is. Would our robots go to church? Would our robots pay to church? Or would the robots become the priest? I was talking to a very religious man in the past 48 hours. We were passing a church, and I said, what are you going to do now with robots? How does the robot will take over? And what would be the belief of the man? At the moment, we import black priests from Africa to teach the white man in the white churches of Europe, as there is no enough white man left to become a priest. Would we employ robots which have no soul to teach the man as a priest in the churches of God? This is not a joke, this is a reality. Then you understand how far the soul of the man is important to the whole structure of the creation and conformation of the Creator. If mankind comes to understand how a soul of physicality is crucial, is that inertia for manifestation and conformation of the soul of the man, which is the Creator within, then you understand how fragile is the structure of the existence in this planet, in this universe, and in the whole of the structure of the fallacies of the creation of a Creator that allows man to be frightened of, when in fact it's the soul of him and is frightened of himself. This is what the priests keep away from you. This is what the mullahs keep away from you. This is why they're all scared of you realizing you've been robbed. You've been robbed of the essence of your creation, which is your energetic side. You call it the soul. By telling you, you deny this, then they can control you. And this is what has happened in the name of the religions. In the name of God, which they have no bearing in truth, because you are part of that God, you are part of that creation. Denying always, don't forget, the abuser tells you it's your fault, that I'm abusing you. And this goes again down with the soul of the man fooling himself with his soul of physicality, and then allowing the religion to rub it off. Now you fooled yourself, let me fool you. When we are all thieves, nobody can say who's stealing from where. This is the structure that brings forth a new understanding. A new understanding in the structure of the life. We have to understand the true living, not the dimension of physicality, and understand how it's controlled through what we call the emotion, or from the interaction of two different levels of energy. In the world of physics, we call it potential difference, and it gives you whatever. Gives you electricity. If you drop it from the top of the, what we call the fall to the bottom, and you collect its energy. In the world of other things, we call it kinetic energy, and we call it everything else. And in the world of the man, we call it emotion. One higher point being the soul of the man, and one lower point being the soul of physicality of the man, man calls the spirit. And that creates the emotion. And then you understand how your hair stands up when the emotion gets in touch with the dimension of physicality through the interaction of understanding the field forces of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality. Next time when your hair stands up, go back to the soul and say, what have you done with my soul of physicality that this has created this emotion and what we call this commotion of my body? In a way, if you understand it, the soul and what we call the seed of the hair under your skin is a radar for the interaction of the emotion between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man and the fallout. This time it cannot create a mountain. It gets your hair risen and say, oh, look at the back of my hand, my hair is standing up. Next time this emotion does not have the strength of the frequency of the hair, but it has of the prostate. And what happened when the two emotion doesn't go? Voila, you create understanding in solidification to show yourself as the seed of your cancer. The same with the mother. And then now you understand how fragile the life of the man is. How the interaction of the fields of the what we call the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man leads to manifestation of emotion and dimension of physicality of the man. Even if man understands this in the dimension of the health of the man, then he understands that everything man gets himself entangled with, being this cancer, being it high blood pressure, being whatever, manifests itself from the essence of the emotion, from the interaction of the dimension of the soul of the man with the soul of his. Then, in the term of science, if you go back in the teachings of the wellness in the past, with the sessions of the what we call wellness applications, then you understand how man behaves, even emotionally, when the field of the soul of the earth interacts with the soul of the man, and it drives man crazy. It drives man into a dimension of not understanding. But at the same time, if you understood this, you understand the concepts of where we know that the interaction of the energies of the soul of the man with the solar system leads to the creation of the energy at the strength that it touches the soul of the man and the dimension of physicality of the man. But this time, this energy transfers through what we call 95% weight of the man, which is that hydrogen, and oxygen, we call it the liquid of the water. Once the world of science understand what even H2O has to do with the energy and conformation of the emotion of the man and the energy of the soul of the man, man will commit everything to his power to meet his creator, because the oxygen is of this planet and hydrogen is a connection of the fields from the creator. That the actual energy comes from the eddy current of it, you call it, which goes from hydrogen to oxygen and not from the energy released from the oxygen to hydrogen. If the scientists understand this concept and understand the principle behind the two-way energy, where the separation of the water with the body of the man, with the light of the universal condition, be it on the strength of the universal field energy, or the daylight of the day of the man, then man understands that one feeds the soul and one feeds the physicality. Then you understand why man releases what we call oxygen in the dimension of the carbon CO2. Man needs a lot to learn, where one feeds the soul through hydrogen and one feeds the physicality of the man through oxygen. As it needs more, but in fact, it's the bandwidth of the energy of the soul of physicality which the oxygen uses, where the hydrogen in the splitting continuously feeds, maintains the life of the soul. Now maybe you understand why you need water. Now maybe you understand why you breathe that air, to create the connection to feed both. where the dimension of the what you call energy, division of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of man creates the inertia of the physicality of the man in manifestation of itself and the dimension of emotion in the dimension of the soul of the man. Now, maybe as knowledge seekers, you come to understand how fragile your life is, how and why you're so dependent on that water. Don't get water, you die. Don't breathe the air, you die, because one needs to divide and feed the soul and the physicality. And one literally just needs to tinkle and tinkle with the vibration of the heart of the man and what we call the understanding of the frequency of the soul of the man. One day mankind will understand this knowledge, and once man understands this, he will not trouble, he transmutes, because he decides which energy he gives to encourage what we call the movement of the energy of the soul. If you ask yourself a single question, what feeds my soul when it leaves this planet? There is no oxygen in the universe for it to breathe, except connection to the line of the hydrogen of the creator and the communication light connection with the dimension of its physicality, which comes through carbon 14, 16, 8, and 6. I made man in the image of myself, because man is my image, is my manifestation through my emotion. This is why I created man through the love of the Mitra. The love of Mitra is the emotion of the creation and not the physicality that man has attached to it. One day I'll teach you how to create both at the same time, but man needs to understand why water, life, is part of its connection. And this is the same anywhere in the universe. Without dimension of the hydrogen, man has no life, does not exist, does not connect, and it's impossible to exist as a conformation of the plasma in the universe. Those who reach that point, they become what we call the fields in motion, the energy of the universe, and the creation of what we call the next cycle of manifestation and confirmation of the creation. Now you understand more why everything in your physical life is connected to what this planet and then this universe provides you. It's not just that the air you breathe, that the water that you drink, which connects you to your creator in the dimension of his physicality, but at the same time, on the bandwidth of the hydrogen, you invite, you absorb, you use the energy fields of the universe that connects you to your creator. Now you understand how man has been, as usual, so involved with the confirmation of physicality and forgetting about the dimension of its energy fields, which is a creator and the feeder of itself to the soul of the man. If you feed the man the water, feed the man everything he wants to eat, but makes a Faraday box that he has no connection with the soul of his creator, man will die. We will show this. Fill up the room with water, fill up the room with all the gases it needs, but cut man from the source of his existence, his creator. In the Faraday of the life of the man will die. He cannot survive because he has no string which attaches it to his creator. Isolation of the soul is the worst punishment to the life of the man in the dimension of physicality. Doesn't become soulless, it becomes non-existent. It cannot even manifest itself. One day we show this to those who commit crimes, those who do what they're not supposed to do, build their own Faraday cage. One day you will understand how, and one day we'll show how man has come to the point of looking at the dimension of physicality and has never feared. And actually, the worst noose around his neck is that dimension of hydrogen to his creator and that dimension of the air he breathed on this. man has to come to understand. Sooner or later, the world of creation will confirm to man that his conduct, his life, his understanding connects it to every living things across the universe. As it says in the Liverpool song, you never walk alone, because the one who walks with you is your creator. We go for a break, and when we come back from the break, we try to understand the totality and in more depth the understanding of the creation. And then you understand why we start feeding you with the energies of the universe and not material condition of the physicality of the man. Rick, can you take us for a break? Because I think your guys got a lot of shock in their system. They understood the true teaching today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. We have a special video to play for our break here, and having to do with the Chinese agriculture. So I'll play that, and I'll remind our audience that we will have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe after the break. And to do that, if you're an attendee here, you can put up your virtual hand, and then we can allow your microphone to open if you'd like to ask a question. Otherwise, you can text questions into the webinar chat or into the Q&A in the Zoom here, or into the chat in the YouTube.
Can I just add something here? What you're about to see is the confirmation of the Keshe Foundation technology at the level which is today and expanding in the Space City. You see different dimensions, how Keshe Foundation has grown and is becoming. And for the time being, we just show you what is developed and what is owned by Keshe Foundation and the operation. What you see is done by knowledge seekers and the workforce in China. At the end, and on the other channel, you will be given the link where you can buy the products only in China, because you have to have the facilities. We cannot export these products out of China yet. But you see where the future is and what Keshe Foundation today is. It's not those little things. It's what it's become. It's becoming the center of the knowledge in the most advanced way in the space technology. I hope you enjoy. Go ahead, please.
Well, that was a lot packed into a few minutes. Very exciting development. Would you like to say more about that, Mr. Keshe?
This is the Keshe Foundation Space Center in China. This is part of, but now become part of the Space City. We're producing seeds which have no fertilizer, no human touch. And the system is very simple. You have a link. If you're Chinese, only in China, you can place an order through this website link, even today. The product is already getting reached and going out to the market in China. And gradually, the reason we do, and we have set such a high-class production, is to create a pure seed with no genetic modification. If you're a Chinese, you can take a picture and order on your WeChats and on the Alibaba line directly for your deliveries. The packages are there. But what you will see in the coming weeks and days in the supermarkets in China, you go to shops in supermarkets, you have normal product and especially rated, highly priced bio products. What we will do and what is said to be done is we ask the retailers to add a next section next to bio as Cosmo. You will see Cosmo products across China and next in United States and in Europe. We'll transfer the technology across. As is our own technology, we don't need any licensing, we don't need any whatever you call contract. As you see, the package itself, it says Cosmo product and it's part of the Cosmic Ray product of the Keshe Foundation. But with the Cosmo products, you pay exactly more or less, except in special cases, the same price as you pay for your normal goods. Living a healthy life, living a correct life, does not mean to cost. And this is not our target. In a way, bio, which you pay for, our villages people get free, live a village life, but pay more for it in the civilization of the cities. With Cosmo, it brings the man's what he eats in the village and what a man eats in town exactly to one. But this time, no contamination. This time, no hype on prices to bring. We charge extra in some sectors of the Keshe Foundation just because of the promotion and supporting the Keshe Foundation. These products hitting the market as a normal product should be exactly the same price as you pay, but with the difference that these products carry energies, which changes the emotion, it changes the health, it changes the wellness, it changes everything else because you know you're eating something which not even the what they call bio, which uses animals fertilizers, are used because they don't tell us how much antibiotic the cow had before we use this manure. With this process, there is no such a thing. We do not transfer diseases from animals to us and then changing man, what we call genetic. You have to understand the purpose of this structure is not to sell goods. We set up this for the world to come and see. We already have universities, institutes across China flying in, coming in to see what the change is. Universities like Beijing Agricultural University tying up, other universities across China tying up, how we can bring a dream of a man to reality. This agriculture land is not set to produce, to sell, but we sell, we produce, that we follow what it does, how long it lasts on the shelves in the market, how what changes will bring to people, what happens to the people who consume this product, which changes their wellness. It is not a marketing, this is introducing new technology on an advanced level. What you saw at the greenhouse is one of the most advanced agricultural hydroponic systems in China. Even the universities are aware of it. They are coming to see what it is, how it works, how can you grow vegetables without fertilizers, how can you just change the environment and receive it. This, what you see as the center of the agriculture of the Keshe Foundation, is one of the most unique, most expensive centers ever set up. Next week or next couple of weeks, you'll see the extension to this, how now we use the same agriculture for tens of thousands of square meters of Chinese herbs to bring it back to what it was. And these herbs will be directly for sale to public. And then you will see how we are interfering or we are interacting with the mass production with what we call the drones and the rest, which is already ongoing. It's not something we're going to do. It's just that our team decided to break it in two parts. You see this part where we come. And this is all in one space. It's not different places. Tens of thousands of square meters of agricultural land is used, is paid, is operated by Keshe Foundation, is owned by Keshe Foundation. And we are testing everything to see what's the best possible connections. And we already have had an agricultural specialist who's stayed here for a while and he's taken knowledge already to another country and become, as I said, one of the first spin-off of technology. In a few weeks' time, we'll show you one of the most elaborate space centers ever designed to work right in the center of a city, where the space city itself is a model for what is to come. The space should not be out of the reach of a man. Space should be part of the reach of the man, where you can fly your physicality or you can arrange for your soul to travel the depth of the universe. The same structure, the same highest level standards is followed. Factories, research centers, development centers, all getting set up as you see in this video. Absolute to the excellence. We don't compromise. And now you know where your donations in buying goods from us, in helping us, has brought the Keshe Foundation. When you look at this picture, this is the edge of science in agriculture. Universities in the United States and universities in Europe dream to have such a thing. And now it's owned, run, and developed by the Keshe Foundation. And this center, as you can see, everything is controlled by us. The water, the air, we can change every combination we want to see what effect does. The purpose is to create pure seeds that when we do the what we call transmutation in a few months' time, and when we feed you through apps, that apple, which is energy, was used for the apple for you to eat to transfer energy, carries no fertilizers, carries no additives. It's as pure as the God created it. And as you can see, we use the latest technologies. Whatever you've seen on this video and what it comes is owned, run by knowledge seekers, by Keshe Foundation, independent of any government or any other organization, that they do not interfere. We take our losses, we learn from our mistakes, and everything is done according to the book rule of the Keshe Foundation, and not by any other order. And many institutes, universities have become aware of the change in the science of agriculture, as you see. I hope you enjoyed what you see, and this time we don't rely on no one and we don't let anyone break it up. And I hope when you see one of the most advanced research centers ever built in the next few months, then you know where the Keshe Foundation is going, and you can become part of it. Collaborate with us, bring technology to us, and we develop it and we get back to humanity the correct way. Thank you very much. And I tell you one thing, these lettuces you see, you can't stop eating them. They have a magic addiction touch to them that's so amazing. because every time I walk into the research center, I get handed over a bag of it, and by the time we walk a few steps, it says, "Is it under the bag?" And you can see it. Everything is space level. Keshe Foundation is a space technology development organization, and now you see how we set it up. If you're Chinese, enjoy it, or if you go to China, find a place to order it, and then you know what the difference is. In the very near future, this will be developed and marketed the same way through market corporation, Keshe Foundation, and our arm in Austria through the Keshe Foundation sales office. Any questions?
Well, a question comes to my mind, Mr. Keshe, which is, can a man exist on lettuce alone?
More or less, yes. We can change it to anything you like.
Right. Well, maybe we won't need necessarily a variety of foods if it comes right down to it. Maybe the nutrients and, well, the energy itself from the cosmic rays and whatnot that's embedded in the lettuce, maybe that's enough.
We already are developing that system. That's a very complicated system. It's already not to be developed. It's partially built, and it'll be completed maybe next month or so, where within one system we can develop every enzymes, every vitamin, every hormone in the body of the man at the same time. It's not a dream.
You can probably make the lettuce taste like hamburger for those
more
that
or less, yeah.
really miss it.
Yeah, you can taste it anything, because it's just you feed what the lettuce gives you, what you create the emotion of what you're looking for. Now, those of you who criticize you, Keshe Foundation, let them see what's coming up and what it is. We are not here to prove anything. We are here to change everything. The Keshe coin comes on the back of this technology. When we tell you we value the Keshe coin as 1,000 euro, now you see how it's backed. And the whole team of management is international management team from different countries in China. People, experts, they have flown in, and we have people just coming in, helping, advising, staying for a while, going back and remotely even teaching from remote. Knowledge seekers remote in China are teaching. Because don't forget, these guys you see here on the ladder, they're not knowledge seekers, but they're getting taught the work of the knowledge. And they're puzzled how you can do this. We get pests, we get parasites, we get weather conditions. We don't panic and jump into, oh, we have to find a chemical. No, we look what we have in the world of science of the Keshe Foundation, and we dig into it. We lose harvest because of an accident or a pest. We don't panic. We find a solution how we can change it, and we promote it. And this is already has happened. You will start seeing products of the Keshe Foundation in China and outside, especially for farming. They don't need chemicals. You have to understand how to use it, how to touch the soul of the material, and how to touch the physicality of it. Then it changes. Now you see what we're dealing with and where Keshe Foundation is. We are a space technology. We work at the space level. Universities are envying this space center. This agriculture center is envy of the universities. They want to get the graduates here. They want to see what the next step is. Producing food without fertilizer, without chemicals, at a price that every man can afford. It's a dream which comes reality. Any questions?
As Randy mentions in the chat, just look at the vibrant colors of the plants. And that's something that occurred to me as well, that many of the images we see is very vibrant. They're obviously very happy plants. These ones over here are especially deeper green and so on. And
it's taken nearly 5 months to bring this land. It took about 3-4 months to bring this land into Keshe Foundation agricultural level. You'll see tomorrow, maybe next week or the week after. The Chinese section is huge. It's gigantic. It's 25,000 square meter greenhouse. It's one of the biggest in China, I think. And hopefully next few months we'll go to about something like 300,000 square meter and up to 1 million greenhouse, all done the same way. It's not just the land. Land had to be prepared. You see the whole area is being worked out in, you can't see it, maybe you see the above, under and over is gas technology. The glass house is covered inside and outside to create a condition. It's not just the thing we're creating there. This is part of the colonization. How do we change things in colonies, in the space? Oh, it's something like 10, 20 different tests is going on with this plant. We measure the temperature in this greenhouse. So we have a greenhouse next door, which is not ours. It belongs to another company. We measure what's the temperature difference, what's the emotion difference, what's the humidity difference, how things grow here. Our scientists continuously, our agriculture, head of agriculture continuously is in touch with the other farmers who are growing the same thing with fertilizer. We're comparing what is the difference, and everything is done. It's not all hunky-dory. It's a lot of work. It's this center will have about 3,000 scientists working by the end of this year or so. All under control application. We don't compromise. We lose harvest. We have pests. We look into how we can do it through our technology. In the section you most will see in the next couple of weeks, we have set up and we're setting up a fishery inside, that the fishes live with the plants inside, and how we can change the life of fish without any food. We don't want to feed the fish. We create a condition of creating food from atmosphere for them to eat. When you look at this harvest in front of you, this usually takes about 69 days to grow with the other forests we are comparing. From the time they seed to harvest is 69 days. We have harvested fully at 39 days. We reduced the growth time by 50% more or less. And this was the first run. So we are learning. And then we reduce it, but the quality is there. It lasts longer. We look at how these people working on it, how psychologically they change. Do they sign for off being sick? We know from our other trials, what we call sickness notes why agriculture is working, the environment has come to zero. They want to be here. It's just they get addicted to the environment. They enjoy working. We are monitoring everything. And as you see, this was something left for years. No organizations like to work in these greenhouses. It has huge problems. And we took the challenge. And we have proven to be correct. These are European greenhouses and do not work in China. And they bought hundreds of thousands of them. In one area is about 1/3 Nobody wants to be in it because they cannot handle it. Winter needs a lot of heat, summer is a lot of cool. And you can see in the summer now, in the heat of the thing we're cultivating. And we learn from the failures and we learn from the success, but it's not matter. We just want to transfer the technology to worldwide. no fertilizer, pesticide, no herbicide. And the results coming from other countries' research is amazing. We'll show it very soon. Technology used, and it all decentralized in China, because every facility is provided, and we have a beautiful management. The CEOs of the Keshe Foundation are amazing what they're doing in China. It's not an individual anymore, it's a team, and it's a team of international team scientists. Some of you know, you edited these videos, some of you have decided what goes in this, you've been there. Everything is the science behind it done by knowledge seekers, and then literally the people who work there gradually convert into it because they can see the change. Once you see this research center, you'll be shocked. The world leaders will come to see what is bringing them to change. It'll change their governments. Let's see what comes up.
Showing by doing. Very good, Mr. Keshe.
We have to show the way it's there. It's not a talk. We tried in different countries. Now we've closed all operations, all concentrated in one area. We have a full support of the local area. We have huge support in the background from CPC, who is supporting us in the background extremely high. But it comes down, they just show themselves as the local area working. These are part of the structure of 10 years of work in China.
We did have a question about what is the Chinese government reaction to these factories? And will this expand to the meat industry and eggs and beef and so on?
Right. Yes, we touched the fish. We have to produce a food, and you will see next week. We are producing, we are taking part in section where we are comparing in the same, it's just a few meters away from these buildings. They're all concentrated in one site, where they have cultivated 10,000 square meter of land with wheat, and they've grown it for over 100 days. And now we have taken for the last 40-50 days a third of the section using Keshe technology. We have positioned, we bought our own, what we call 80 or 90 liter drone, which, what do you call it, the sprays a few times a week over the land, which are our part. And then when the harvest time comes, we compare our harvest with their harvest, which is two ends of the same farm. We asked we actually, when we bought the drone, we had to send our employees to learn how to use the drone to be there. And most probably next week or so, you will see we developed the technology that the drone attaches or sits on the platform, which is made by Keshe Foundation, producing gases on the spot, or gas waters on the spot, that everything is remote. You can place it in the middle of the nowhere, and the drone lands, feeds itself gradually, and then sprays and come back and reloads itself. You'll see this, it's already completed, and it should be in position. You'll see it next week or so. Everything is done to make the need for an excuse that is too hard to think all to be taken away. The technology has to be at the reach of every farmer, and our target is very simple in China, why we are concentrating. And this technology, maybe in the next 2 years, it will be one of the leading technologies in China, as we know what it is. In China, there are over 30 million farmers. Only have 2,000 square meters to live on. That's all they have. They grow carrots and it fails. They grow tomato and it succeeds. That's their living for 1 year. And the work we did in Inner Mongolia, and then we did other places, it became very clear. A farmer The what you call the poverty line in China is 1,000, down about 2,000 RMB, which is about $300 a year. And 29 million do not read that. But they get maybe 100 when they cultivate what they need for the year and everything else. They get about maybe 100 in their pocket because the rest goes for fertilizers, for seeds and the rest. The only way you can get the population out of the poverty is that increase the harvest and shorten the time, which we've done. Now we've seen it physically here. We reduced 69 to 39. We've done that before. And is that when now the land covers the initial expenses, the next tonnage, 1 ton extra, that 800, 1,000 is in the pocket of the farmer. We don't need to do much to move 29 million out of poverty line to livable lifetime. And this will take the pressure from the government. This is why Chinese government has seen what we do. And they said back, I work closely with CPC. When the result comes, we are collecting data. When we show, you say it's 69 days to 30 days. Now, even if you get the same amount of harvest, now you double the products, triple the products, because you cultivate 3 times. It's not the old way that the land will deplete. Land will never deplete because we feed from the atmosphere. So a farmer, instead of producing 1 ton a year and having 100, now a farmer produces 3 ton, maybe 4 ton, maybe 5 ton, and it gets 100 plus another 4 or 5,000 on top. Nation moves out of poverty. This is the biggest problem with CPC. Keshe Foundation technology is ingrained in the 14 and the 15 national program of the China. We can tell you this for the first time. Our technology is ingrained in the 14 and 15 5-year program of the Chinese government. And now we are showing it. It gives a child a food on the table. It gives a child to live normal, not parents just what came off the land, that's all we have to live. This is the next step in technology. And this is why we are doing it, to show. And then promote the technology to be accepted, which is now is there. They cannot, deny it. And then increase national contracts with the government through the Keshe Foundation becomes part of the national policy, which is now is part of it. Now it becomes operational. And you will see the change. We are there now in the next 2 years with this going, if it goes everything that we planned, to move 29 million Chinese farmers within the next 5 years out of poverty. And this is the biggest burden on President Xi's, what we call administration. They can do everything. They develop the most advanced technologies, but they cannot move these 30 million farmers out of the poverty line. They are doing everything. They may 1 year make it, but they fall. But now will be done on their own hand, in their own land, and technology will be. The next step is satellite creations of the drones, which is on the card. We can do that through new technology. And you see it. No chemicals, no fertilizer, no pesticide, nothing. And then when you change the environment, everybody does what it needs. As I said to a CPC guy on the table, he said, how does it come? I said, that we feed it with the rays of the Creator. It comes from the sky. Man never realized. Any other?
Well, we have a couple of hands up here, but before we get to them, let me ask a couple of questions regarding this program. From Lisbeth, who says, thank you for the amazing work. Are they grown using plasma aquaponics, or are some also grown in soil? Like
You saw the second part is the soil, and this one is with the water. We have different facilities. When you look at the end picture, you see the lady harvesting on the land.
So the greenhouse ones are in soil.
Yes.
But the other ones are under artificial light. We had a question, is it LED or fluorescent?
It's all done. It's set up. It's LED. We control everything there. But that plant still needs a lot of work. It's just coming online fully in next few weeks because it's a test area. The hydroponic one is very what do you call extensively under observation. What we do, what we cannot do. It's taken us 5 months more since December to actually gradually in next 2 months will come totally under the way we want it. Everything has to be tested. A lot of knowledge seekers are spending a lot of time changing. Even when you saw that nozzle spray, that has taken 4 months to get it sorted out. Just one spray. To be exactly where it is, it does what it does. And it's a very complicated system, this. This is not a very simple, but allows us to test in space level when we create the domes. Here you see the operation in the greenhouse. We create a dome. We have an environment, we locked environment. We spray inside and outside with drones. And then we see how it changes since we sprayed, which and what changes, what animals move in, what we do with the pests, what we do with the herbicide, and everything is monitored. The part you will see most probably in the next couple of weeks, the Chinese agricultural herb, which is tens of thousands of square meters on the cultivation. We have brought for the first time open space greenhouse, which means we are inside the greenhouse, we've taken the roof off totally. And then we see, like in China in the past few weeks, has been one of the biggest floods. Our greenhouse is literally swimming. We see what comes up, how the problems of flood can be. Does the farmer needs to lose harvest because there was a flood? Or we introduce a system that it just carries on. And then it becomes national product. You will see Keshe Foundation agricultural products in the next few days. And already it's in the market in a bigger way. And the agricultural work, and most of the next 12 months will be adopted by many government officials as part of the work. It's all getting data. And we need a lot of funding. We are supporting as much as we can. We need millions. Now you see where we are. Now it's another job. And this has taken a lot of effort. And it's a lot of energy, thanks to our CEOs and all the management, the board of directors and the scientists who are helping us relentlessly. And it's not just you have agriculture, you have the space, you have the water decontamination, you have the cash coin. These all have moved into this area. They're all working. It's not something we're going to do. The newest cash gas factory, which is getting set up, is a space level when it finishes. It's not the way it was when we were in initial set. Knowledge seekers are flying in, advising what to do, getting a structure, testing. And the next step, the next products you will see very soon by September coming up. These things takes time, months, and it costs millions. These laboratories, these research centers are not free. We have not been given a single cent by any government or any organization outside knowledge seekers and their own support. We don't accept because then they want to change our policy. They want to bring their way to stop. And when you see, we had some visitors today into the new Space Center, and they know what is coming in. Don't forget, with this comes free education. All the scientists who move in with us, their children get a totally free education at the highest level. And as I was talking to the head of the school, which is taking over this morning, Keshe Foundation technology is part of the curriculum. It's not off book. Very soon the education team will ask you to join in, to fly, come to China and set up the curriculum. All the things done in the past, the education group, the school groups, now what you did become harvested in Keshe Foundation, what we call Montessori style class. And we're preparing up to 3,000 students, which means you can see each family comes with 1 or 2 children from 18 months to 18 years. And most probably we can support with the university near into their university. It's all getting done, it takes time. Today we had the head of the school from another city coming to assess how we set up and what they need. And that education today in China is about $20,000 to $30,000 per head, totally free for every child who works. The parents work in the structure. We pay for it. It's getting set up. Any other question?
All right, thank you. We have 3 hands up now. So let's go in order. I believe it's Filippo. If you could start off, please.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning.
My question today is, can you please expand a little bit on the salt that we collect in our reactors? Every time we create a reactor, after a while we have that salt sticking on the plate, on the coil in the reactor, and it would be nice have some more information how to use it, how this salt, and how to handle.
This salt, it has a specific application, and it needs to be handled the right way. We harvest it ourselves and we use it when we need it extensively. But we realize when we give such information, knowledge gets abused.
Mm.
And then it creates more problem than solve a problem. If you gather these salts, hold on to them, one day in the future, we might even ask what Ganses salt you have that we want to buy. It's not easy to produce, and it has huge implication and application. Huge implication. We harvest every grain of it when we can. But you have to understand how to use it.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm not trying to be I'm just trying to explain to you that exactly what is needed.
So the coil that we see here, Mr. Keshe, is that coated with salt or GANs or
No, it's just a normal. It's just a normal coil.
Okay.
It's just a normal coil, but these coils are just there for being there. We have a different structure in this area, and new things are getting tested. It's we just trying to create an environment. It's like the one you use at home. And it's part of the testing, and they just happen to show it there. But in fact, is the structure of the work.
Okay, we have another hand up here with Antonio. Would you like to go ahead, please?
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. The agricultural side of it, which is amazing. I'm just wondering if I approach some of the big glass houses here and introduce this technology to them with a bit more information, or maybe a copy of what we just shown, and then get him to contact the Keshe Foundation. Would that be a good idea?
Yes, just give us a few more months. You know, one of the knowledge who's expert on this near you.
Yeah.
He's closely working with us. And he's already been to the plants. He'll be taking his advice. There is a lot of things need to be sorted. Maybe in 3 months, 6 months time, yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pardon?
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
With my fruit trees, they're outdoors. So I'm just wondering, could I suspend coils between the trees, or?
No, we are testing now. We have seen increase of harvest by 2 to 3 times. But the other problem is the pests and what the things we get with the fruits, with the trees. This is all getting assessed and everything else. Give us a few months, give us a few 2 or 3 months or so. We have to go through a full season harvest to know where the problem is, where we have to sort out. But I've seen pictures from trees which 2 doors down in the same farm area. The harvest is unbelievable because it's a spring, it's a beginning. We have to see how much of the harvest matures and how much is empty, how much is not what it's supposed to be. Is the plant supporting, can plant support such a huge harvest? If the tree for 20 years built itself to carry 100 kilo, can he handle 400 kilo? You understand?
Just thin the fruit, Mr. Keshe, just thin it. If there's too much fruit, you have to go and thin it, you know?
You can't thin it. We've seen it. What we see on the field now is impossible to thin it. It is. We are learning. We are learning. We have an expert in farming with us. He is an amazing guy. He came, he's not a knowledge seeker, he came to help us with agriculture. He became a knowledge seeker. And he is testing a lot of things for us. He's one of, as I said, the first spin-offs of the Keshe Foundation going to him. But this guy eats and breathes and lives through agriculture. And we are testing. We are testing, and give us a year. We have to see. It's very easy, and you have to understand. While we test, we give these things to the farmers, and they test their way, but they don't tell us. And then we only get to know when they run into problem. And it's happened to us many times with agriculture. We showed in Mongolia we can increase the harvest 2 or 3 times. Then we went on 100,000 square meter land. The agricultural committee on this land, they told us they don't want us to interfere. They just want the material, and Xiaojun went there and gave them the material, helped them or whatever, and then they took it somewhere else and they did the thing they want to do. They learned what to do. Then when it came to the summer, just before harvest time, we had them shouting and crying. What is going on? This thing is something wrong with it. We had a hurricane-like things. No farm around us has touched as such, but all our wheat and harvest is on the ground. I said, why? What happened? We don't know. It's just that what these clever people did is in China. It was done in China. They took our gases and they brought their own scientists to innovate and try different things with it. They looked at it as a water, as a fertilizer. They never understood this is a field system. So by mixing the wrong things in the 100,000 square meter, they create a magnetic wind. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And this brought the harvest on. There was a rain, there was a storm. The lands next door, all the harvest was perfect. Only this 100,000 square meter and a little bit around it were flattened. Because these clever people, they mixed the gases and they don't understand this is a field work. It creates its own wind, and they created a wind and flattened their own harvest. I told them just wait 7 days. The wheat will stand up. They said no, it's impossible. When it goes, it breaks. 7 days later, it stood up.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to learn, because it's the field forces which brings it up. And we have to learn a lot. We are at the beginning. Now we are structured in one of the most advanced, not one of the most advanced research center in agriculture in the hydroponic is what you see at, as it's owned by Keshe Foundation. To build such a center outside Europe, you're looking at $10-20 million. We are given a gift and we use a gift, and we try to understand it. You don't see a space research center at this level anywhere on this planet except in China and in the hand of the Keshe Foundation. I've been to universities. I went to Beijing University Greenhouse. It's a Mickey Mouse, one level. They put it even in a container that doesn't get contaminated. They come here, they go crazy. It's, if you look at it, it's 16 rows, and each one is double-sided. That makes it 32. And each row is 8 level up. What we are even looking at this is that what's the difference between the production of the top level, bottom level, and the ones in the middle? And then if you go to the next frame, what's the next, the research is going on with, we are observing. If you go to the frame where you see the inside, yeah. Now we are considering, we are actually not considering testing, that we are monitoring the one on the right, let's say it's the one near the mirror, the windows. How much the harvest is that? The one in the middle is again gases. We are monitoring how much the gas is in the middle row. And the one on the left row, we are watching that, how much is that one? Because the one on either side are in touch with the normal environment, okay, the gases. The one in the middle is totally gas environment. Do the plants grow faster? Do they grow different? We are looking at the roots. We are looking. This is one of the most advanced research centers in space technology, agriculture. Americans dream to have such a thing. We put our fingerprint down. You should see what we're building in the space center. You don't need to go to Cape Canaveral. You don't need to go to space centers. You fly from the roof of the space center.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that opportunity. And thanks to those who are behind us, those who are supporting us, this is what is delivered. We don't waste a penny. We need millions to stay independent. But the good thing is now, in next 6 months, year, the agriculture and other parts will start paying for the research to expand. We sell these products. They start bringing income. They start, and when you work at this scale, it brings enough in 6 months, 12 months to support millions of research. And this is one of many projects which is ongoing in the Space City. We decided to show the agriculture first. Then you will see the wellness center, the space center, the everything, the manufacturing, The only thing which we will never open up is our production. We use very secret, very highly classified, confidential techniques we will develop ourselves, which will never be revealed. It's part of control of the system technology.
So could I sell my fruit as plasmatic fruit?
Yes, you sell it as Cosmo. We give this license as a Cosmo product.
Cosmo.
Yeah, it's because we use cosmic rays, and it's easier because you have bio. Now we have bio is what it comes biologically. This comes from cosmos rays, a cosmic ray. We call it a Cosmo product.
Cosmo. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you get a certificate from us that this is what you say. We gradually become authority in this in China and then around the world, and this is another part of certification in the future.
So to be a Cosmos grower, you would have to use a combination of GANs. I'm using the 1 cup, 1 life, but also
no, it's much deeper.
Yeah, that's what I
think. It is much deeper because, example, even on these trays, you are a farmer, the roots can rot. We get that. Immediately we look at what we done, what needs to be done to change the root, even though we don't need the root. This is one of the things I'm looking at. Does the harvest changes above the ground if the root is damaged? Not really, because we're feeding it from the top. It's a lot of challenges, but we are there as researchers. But now this allows us to sell products, to finance the whole process, and we have a huge structure going on. Marketing people are getting involved, sales are getting involved, officials are getting involved, government, CPC is there. I have the Chinese Central Command watching what we are doing, because this can become feeding the soldiers. It has a huge implication for military application in feeding the soldiers on the front line. It's not just one thing. It brings a lot of changes. And the whole, I had a meeting with Central Command people very recently in Beijing, and they say, we're just watching what you're doing is taking breath from us. You dare to do it this way, we're watching it.
That's good. It's really good, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Yeah.
Thank you for all of you being behind us. You especially, and others like you. You stood by us in thin and thick, and now you see the result. And it's a bigger thing to come, much bigger. We need at least another $25 million in the next 6 months. And then gradually we stand our own. It's licensing, furnishing, buying equipment. It's not, when I say we need to keep it, oh, the guy says he can make gold. I make gold, it just vanishes everything we've done. They go for us, they destroy us. This time we're coming from bottom up, agriculture, food, wellness, space technology on the other end.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Irmgard had a question in our Q&A, how are the plants pollinated? But for most of the plants that I've seen, they don't require pollination.
We in the tomato side, we use bees, bumblebees.
Oh, okay.
Bees do not survive in greenhouses. Bees are good for open land. In greenhouses, we use bumblebees, and we had to bring them in, and we learned a lot from it. But we have to see, actually, do we need the bumblebees? This is something our agricultural guys wanted. The fruits are not, when it came through an incident, and our bees are dying in the heat. That's one of the biggest problems, bumblebees. So we are watching to see if we're changing the environment, we actually get the fruits. We had no fruit, no bees, but we have a beautiful cucumber products, harvest. So do we need the bees? Not the way we cultivate it, but we have to keep. Wait 1 second, just 1 second. Let me see. This is a picture which is just coming from us agricultural center. I said it's easier for me to send them to you than you. What do you call it? Than me doing it. You can post these two. This just coming. That's today's harvest. I have a. Where are you, Rick? 2 photos going up, going here. You can put this. This is the harvest of today. And you receive them?
Yes, just got them.
Yeah. And this is what it comes in. Here's from where you saw the ladies. It's part of the same greenhouse. And it's not just what we call, those are the tomatoes from the greenhouse, and then you have another one. No fertilizer, no, with the cucumbers there were no bees. And you see this is amazing. And these are the cucumber today's harvest. Agriculture can be done without fertilizers and pesticides. These cucumber plants were nearly destroyed. They had a white mold fungus on them, the whole plant. It took us a week to find a solution in what we call cosmic ray technology, and now that this process will become a product marketing next year. Because when it comes, it destroys the cucumber, and they have to throw it out, or they have used very heavy chemicals to destroy it. And now it'll become as a product sale. If you're Chinese, go on the website. These are all for sale. Some of them are a little bit expensive because we have to cover a lot of expenses in the markets. When they hit, they'll be as normal as other products. And now you can see. You only can order through in the Chinese channel. And we cannot export them because of the restrictions around the world. But you can see what it is. We had some cucumbers which are slightly bent and whatever. I said, just pickle it. We sell Keshe Foundation pickle products because it's theirs. We don't need to bury it and dump it or destroy it.
So you'll have a new saying, pick a peck of pickled plasma products? Pickled plasma pickles?
This is what it is. So you see the harvest in China, this will go extensively. It's just that it costs a lot of energy. And it's beautiful what you see. Literally harvest pictures, and around the world you can see what is there. And we want to see how long these tomato plants will harvest, because in some of the Chinese greenhouses, they do these fancy tomatoes. They last about 6 months. We want to see, can we go around the year, because we saw it in the snow in Iran, we still could harvest tomatoes. Be ongoing. Any other question?
All right, thank you. We have another hand up here with EDU flight 006. Not sure who that is, so please open your microphone and go ahead if you like. EDU
Is
flight.
it Chinese? These
Yes,
EDU numbers are the Chinese knowledge seekers, which we had to give them special lines to be able to join teaching. These are knowledge seekers from China.
Okay, I've asked to unmute here, but not hearing from them yet. All right, and keep at it if you like to ask a question, just to try to get your microphone open there. Let me see, we had a couple of questions about the Keshe coin from Ed, who says, the Keshe coin is valued as 1,000 euros. I don't quite understand how the value fluctuation or inflation can be eradicated if there's a tie to a national currency. Or is it that the national currency it is tied to will become more stable as a consequence?
This is a very touchy situation. We chose originally the euro because if you look at the Chinese yen, it's just one nation. If you look at the dollar, it's just one nation. Euro is around 20 nations currency. And it gives us the base for the valuation. But very soon, maybe next year, 2 years, we change the backing of the or balance of parallel of the euro to another commodity, which is values the same. And this is well thought. It's just the opportunity has to come up. You'll find out the Keshe Foundation coins, especially Keshe Foundation coins, we are giving 1,000 coin to every person. The first batch, we are not going to governments. We are not going to institutions. We directly give Keshe coins to students at universities around the world. These are the generation who understand we can work. So in next few weeks, when we start releasing the Keshe coins, if you're a student in university, get your university to get in touch. Every single one of you receives 1,000 coin. We need to back up. There is a lot of service and things need to be purchased and put up. It's not just a coin with the ONNs which are coming out. ONNs, I was told, are ready to go in the next few days, or a couple of days, or a couple of weeks. Once they've done their test behind the back, but then what we would do, students around the world, universities, get a standard level to spend money on their own. These are the young generation that are vibrant, they understand what can be implanted, they can take it across the world they live. You are a student in university, from undergraduate to postgraduate to PhDs, you're a professor in the university, you work in the university, you are part of the education system of a university, you have a priority to receive Keshe coins and start spending it. You're limited to 30 coins a year. You cannot cash more than, we give it to you every year we release the next cycle, but 1,000 is allocated. We control it that you don't go out and suddenly spend everything. It's good for you, we're protecting you. And then you understand that how a university chap in Africa has money to live. Doesn't need to move, doesn't need to cross the waters to die in the oceans, just because it's greener on the other side. And I estimate something like 1 billion coins will be distributed in the next 12 months prestige students and universities. They bring the technology across the world. They force the government because they become a force on their own. They pay to university fees. University can spend it. They pay in their dorms. They pay for the food. They push the economy to accept it because it's the currency, and has no government to restrict it. A man in the university in Africa will receive the same money to spend as a girl in New York, London, or Washington, or in Paris. The one in the South, you better get to know more because he's got more money. He doesn't spend that much. It costs $1,000 a year to be a student in South Africa. Because $50,000 a year you have to borrow to live the rest of it. You better get yourself some partners in Sub-Sahara universities. But we already told them, be careful, don't be too generous, because what you save now becomes your future. And now you understand the next step of our plan. Once the woman releases this month, the Keshe Foundation coins will be distributed only at the university level to the universities, allowed to, and they become their investment. And then we go to newly born mothers and children. We don't disturb the other end. Students, newborn children, that they are brought up in the right way, and then we come up the ladder, see where we can, education, schools. Every child in the school gets money in the States. I suffered with this a lot in Gambia. I suffered a lot with this in Gambia, and I made sure it won't happen. The headmaster used to come outside the hotel which I owned in Africa and say, Mr. Keshe, £12.50 was, if you pay me, I can take a student in. The parent used to come with a list of the students, their parents. Can you take 100? I said, give me 500 the students. And we used to pay £12.50 for a child to be educated. Now it doesn't need. He has 30,000 with him. He's a value asset. Doesn't need to sleep hungry. Now you know. I've been through it, I know it, and I found the solution to it, and it's the solution. The pensioner, we look at it later on. The governments are looking at the pensions. The one working, they have an income. Students, newly born, and the schools get a priority in the distribution. But it has to be, you have to get the support of the government. I already asked the Iranian government to support us in the list of the university students. And we'll spread. We'll go very fast because they bomb us in our physics labs. We eliminate them and we annihilate them through education to give more to be educated at the high level. Then it goes Philippines. Then it CET, South Africa. CET, students in universities in African nations, South America. Northern Europe, most of the students get grant, they don't need it. I sat, watched thousands of them yesterday bring a city center to a standstill, wanting more money because they've been boycotted. They're the future of the nation. And we sit and watch and we change. Those who are from some nation, poor nations, will directly interact in the next few months to make sure it's not a fiddle. There's a lot of fraud goes on with students who don't exist. We set up a system that monitors everything. University students are vibrant and they take the coin across the world in no time because they live off it. They need it. They get the shopkeeper to accept it. And if you go on the Keshe Foundation coin, you have individuals, you have companies and governments. They all have to register because they all receive their benefits. It's well thought. It will be executed.
Mr. Keshe, we had a question about regarding what Trump has done against Iran, and that the USA would not benefit from Keshe technology. So are USA citizens allowed to purchase or interact with the Keshe coin?
Of course. The only nation we will not allow to interact with Keshe coin is the state of Israel and Belgium. Any other citizens can, and people who carry two passports, one from the other one, will find out we know how to annihilate it or make life hell for them. Don't cheat with us because we know how to handle it. Two states will not be. All the Palestinian students across the world will receive the Keshe coins immediately. All the Iranian students outside Iran who suffer, they receive coins immediately. All the students from Africa. We don't separate, but we monitor. We are not building another state, government control state. We just monitor that the things go the right way. And it just has to be. We've been very open about this. It's not something we hide. State of Israel, under no circumstances we allow a single cent to follow in, to be brought in, to anywhere to touch, because they use education to kill. Universities is a killing university. And same with the state of Belgium. All the research centers is where they killed others to get access to technologies. I've been the victim, so I'm not talking because we don't know. And the rest of the world education, slowly, step by step, we release funds. We announce which countries, which students will become eligible for. The eligibility comes in our system. It's not that they are not eligible. It's what we can back up that it works correctly. That's the only pitfall. This and the problem at the moment is we're facing in past week is these AI hackers that we now, we have to add an AI firewall to it before we send them out now, and that's another cost $530, $40. Each one will cost us extra to put a full good quality firewall on it. And it's the first time AI firewalls is available. And I said we are lucky if we would have sent the one on us 2 or 3 months ago, we wouldn't have had this and they would have hacked everything. Now, even as one of the initial ones, at least we have some protection. We have two choices between 200 and something or 5. I said, go for a 500, let's see what we can. We have to protect the units. Any other question?
Okay, thank you for that. You see here from Cristiano, a question from Sarah from the Brazilian community. By purifying the physicality and seeking alignment with the soul of the man, might we also be correcting errors in other dimensions and or time as well?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, Sarah says, by purifying the physicality and seeking alignment with the soul of the man, might we also be correcting errors in other dimensions and
Possibly, yes. Possibly. We are all connected in different ways.
As below, so above.
Yeah, exactly. There is no disconnection. That's what I said. If you always think if they cut my air, I can't breathe, I die. They don't feed me, I die. I don't have water, I die, but it takes a longer time. Nothing you consider because it's not in the language of the man. If you cut your cosmic ray lines going up to the source, which is a special dimension of the hydrogen, you die faster than the oxygen instantaneously. You know, you have death by injection, death by hanging, do death by field. It'll be faster, painless, because everything stops. Even part of your body disintegrates because it's connected to it.
Would it be death by fields or death by lack of fields? You were
Lack of
mentioning
fields. Lack of
the
fields.
Faraday put person in a Faraday box, and that
Yeah,
would
Faraday box is not the way you think. Faraday box, we're talking about cosmic ray Faraday box.
And is that a physical thing? Is that a box?
Yes. I have built it. I know exactly how it works.
Can you tell us a bit how it would differ from a Faraday box, which might be a
Faraday
metal
box, you have
Professor
what's his name?
Miles?
Miles. You have, what does he call it? Scalar wave. And he says the scalar waves can go by the Faraday box can stop things coming out, but cannot stop things going in. And the scalar does, because it's at different frequencies in different wavelength. That's why it does. I stood with Professor Miles in his laboratories in Europe. I was his guest for 2 days, and he even bought building, a small building in the university, and he's got a little pool there, and he puts a what do you call it, a boat on the pool, and he says, you see, the Faraday box says nothing but mine works, because I said, yes, you're using the reverse of it. What we call is eddy current. Eddy current does not go on the same frequency as a normal. It goes one shift, and only in shift it chooses different bandwidth of the shift, which does not exist in the matter state. And this is a cleverness of it, but you can build a Faraday box of the rays of the universe. It's very hard to make, but I made it. It's possible. The reason I have to make it, or I had to make it before, is that if you read the first paper about the creation of black holes are suckers of energy, and they give in a way mush it up at a very high range of is other thing to the that 2 or 3 things which goes with the frequency. Knowledge of the man doesn't exist in that part of it, don't get into it, but that energy goes in, it gets mushed up, and it comes out at the lower field strengths of the same. So if you cut off the top range, nothing can come out. No universe can be created. No material can be created. But the problem is the black hole will suck everything in. So you want to control it, what comes out. You don't, in the world of physics of today, we build the steel, and then we put it in a machine, we mold it, and we give it the shape we want. In the world of the plasma, we decide the mold at the beginning, and then build the system for it. Which means you can block what comes in, that you already have the shape you want. And this is a knowledge of the creation. Man has not tapped into it yet, they don't even understand it. So you make a Faraday box of a specific cosmic ray, which already gives you the condition, the material you want to get. Read the pattern, is in the pattern. When we draw the pattern, is one of them. Creation of walls and products. But now maybe you understand more if you read it.
We did have a question from Radek in the YouTube mentioning that system used in China to produce gold. Will there be a similar system to produce lettuce like that, or is it something far in the future?
It's not far in the future, it's on the table, but when we produce the energy of the lettuce. It's just past a couple of weeks I've taught the knowledge is how to make it. We are developing a system that is what we call it. You know, the French spanner fits into any bolts and nuts. It's like that. It fits to produce anything. So you don't need the material of it, you just need the emotion and the energy of it. If I can give you the emotion of the pleasure, and I can give you the emotion of the material, and in it put the banana in, you get the emotion of having the banana, and you already receive the energy of the banana. But that emotion lasts a microsecond.
Perhaps the products will become invisible, and you'll get just the packaging, and
Yeah.
open it up, and you'll receive the energy.
Yeah, put your finger in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge, but it needs time, and the problem with our research is that we are going so fast. And I was looking at it a couple of weeks ago. We need to split. The minute something we abandon, we don't abandon, we go to the next step. We have to put a team to carry on with what was abandoned or left.
Mm.
In the governmental structure, you have to get approval, finance for it, blah blah. In Keshe Foundation, we put it, drop it on the table next, because we came to the next step. What we left on the table has to be gone. That's why when you see the Keshe Foundation, the Space Center, and the what I call spin-offs, we are trying to set it up in a way that we can take up to 3,000 to 10,000 new spin-offs in the first 2 years. Now you can imagine the magnitude and the size of buildings which is under consideration. We expect up to 10,000 spin-off in the first 2 years, maximum. And this is part of it. Because we leave a lot of projects because this next step is where we want it to be. But if you develop that part, it can come to a lot of things. Any other question?
It was just occurring to me that maybe the packaging materials for your vegetables could be fuel for the home reactor.
Never know. At the moment, we are using plastic. It's getting done, and we need we brought in a promoting company. They have to do a lot of things, and then you have the sales team. We have to do a lot of things.
Well,
We
plastics
desperately need the experts in different fields.
Plastics are full of carbons and hydrogens. It seems like a perfect delivery system for the home disintegrator reactor.
We are looking urgently for somebody with the international and Chinese sales market. Urgently. If you have not marketing, you have brought a company in to support us. We need people with a sale experience that they can take this technology into market very rapidly.
What about the issue of getting product to market?
We don't have a problem in China. In China, that's not a problem.
You have a couple of days.
No problem. It's already been set up. It's like in China, this is so advanced. In Europe, you dream about it's impossible.
Well,
you
we
order
get
your food. Yeah, that's why
we
we're in
get Chinese
China.
vegetables in Canada here regularly, and they look fresh. They look better than a lot of the local produce.
Yeah, they've developed this technology very fast. Even at home, you can order an ice cream on the telephone and it comes home still frozen. I do that in Beijing. If you want ice cream, you order an ice cream. They deliver it to you. It still has to come out of the freezer. And now these lettuces anywhere in China, it's all been set up. And Chinese know that. Chinese are fully aware. And the ship goes across China in the West. They dream about it. It doesn't exist because they haven't seen it in Europe, but it actually exists. You know, you don't go shopping in China anymore. You sit home. You want your tomatoes from this shop, your carrots from the other shop, both delivered in 30 seconds is behind your door. You don't need to sign for it. They just drop and go. And sometimes when I look at my neighbors, they have a pile of 30, 40, 50 boxes and bags. It wasn't there this morning. And sometimes it stays for 2 months. Nobody touches. In Europe, in America, you've seen these funny things, people sticking packages. This doesn't happen in China, never happened in China. Nobody takes you, and sometimes you get the wrong delivery, you take it back, says this is the wrong delivery, they take it to where it should be. Sometimes I leave home for weeks, I come back, it's a pile, my neighbors can take everything, nobody touches it. I don't have that worry. And it's there. And everything, big boxes, small packages, nobody touches it. Nobody even dares looking at it. It's not mine, I don't touch. China lives very near at the moment, near theaters of meter in so many ways. Out of fear or whatever, but it works. In Europe, I'm away for 2 days. I wonder if the neighbors in America is there 5 seconds stolen. In China, I look at my neighbors, I look at, sometimes I'm away for a few days, come back, oh my God, nothing is missing. You dream what's happening in China because it's only in your dreams, but this reality, Chinese live with it. We are one of the most advanced nations, not in technology, but in ethos. Any other questions?
We have a couple of questions from Stefania in the webinar chat, who says, Dear Mr. Keshe, last week you said the soul of the physicality can consume all the energy available from the earth. Could you go deeper on what depletes the soul of physicality?
Nothing is the intention, it's the emotion. Your emotion does. What you call selfishness. Nothing is good enough and nothing is enough. Even the planet cannot give me.
So what about the emotion?
What we're saying is, we call it I'm too good for my shoes. Huh? Goody two shoes, we call it. This is the behavior of a man.
Sorry,
you bar your soul to receive by your conduct, by your emotion. The arrogance, which is an emotion itself, is the cause of your own demise. Now understand the emotion of arrogance, if you never thought of it, and see how it helps you not to be. And carry on.
How would the emotion of love tie into that? And then comparing love as maybe defined by the physicality, and then unconditional love as that connection to the soul, the creator. What, how would one, what would tend to deplete the soul of the physicality, or even deplete the soul for that matter?
You don't deplete it, you don't receive it. You don't deplete it. When you don't receive it, you don't get. You have nothing. The reality with the cycle of life is we deprive ourselves. In the teaching I've said before, it's you who refuses love. It's not me giving. And when you're given a false love and you take it as a true love, that's a challenge, that's a poison. This is where you empty, you have nothing to give, because it's what I explained this to a knowledge seeker some time ago, is a toothbrush and the toothpaste. They tell you the toothpaste is the best thing for you, and you brush it, and it actually is the cause of all your diseases. You empty the pocket of what is in your body saved. And it's the same with love. This is the same with everything else which goes. And in a way, false love is the same as the toothpaste. The body gets the emotion, the information that the love is coming and there is nothing there. Actually, you release it because you think you got more some. You show your love, And then actually there's nothing left. They use it, you kill yourself with it. You deplete yourself with a promise which wasn't there, but you thought is there. And this is very common, especially very common. False love and covered up love we do, because you put more in it because you think it's there and it shows, but in fact it's empty. It's just to drain you more off, that when it comes to the crisis, you can't stand it, you die. Create a weakness, exactly what happened with you when you do a toothpaste. You wash your mouth with toothpaste and oh, I've got a clean mouth, but your body has rejected all the materials which is supposed to support you, and it's nothing there because you spit it out. You spit everything out of your mouth in word and with love and everything, but you're already depleted. When it comes to the time, you get a cancer and it kills you. And it's exactly the same false love. And I've seen this many knowledge seekers. This is why I keep on saying, stand on your own feet, rely on your own trust, and do your own. There is no need for prophets and priests and the rest of it. And every time they say, oh, Keshe does this because of, Keshe does this because this wants to stop the abuse, you're killing yourself. It's part of the self-preservation of the soul. And this is what we are born, to preserve the soul, not the body. Any other question?
Stephanie has a second question, and we touched on this in the plasma reactor group. If someone, because someone told her that if someone goes into a cemetery or an ancient pyramid, can they can they delete their energy of their soul, let's say, without their will, and or the energy of the soul of physicality? In other words, can a ghost or other entity or some environment that we put ourselves in deplete our energy, to deplete our soul, in effect?
You can do that. You can create a negative energy when you soul. I've seen it happening, physically happening, especially with the men of rope, the biggest crooks, priests, these religious leaders, they know how to do it. And I watched it happening. And when it happened, because they know how to get themselves up, they've done it so much, is that stealing is their second habit. I said yesterday, I talked to a couple of these guys with a man of religion. I said, have you ever asked any of the priests to donate in the box on Sunday? They never do. Have you ever seen a priest putting money in the box? Never
Good
do.
point. Good point. They should
They
show
never
a
do,
good
because they got
example.
the thieves by nature. They steal from your soul and they steal from their pocket. What should they put in it? You watch. You take the donation box to a priest, he says, move on. I'm here to take, not to give. They take from your soul, they take from your pocket, they do everything. You ask a rabbi to pay. Never do. And the other, these kind of questions comes only from Italians, don't worry.
Well,
They've been rubbed too much.
the idea of being
something.
scared of ghosts comes up, and
Yeah,
this is
let me
a
tell
big
you
issue
something.
for many people. And you've mentioned before in the past that with voodoo and that kind of thing, is basically that you didn't believe in it, therefore it didn't affect you, and essentially.
You Italians, especially Italians who know what I'm talking about, walk from the Michelangelo church or Tower or whatever, to the Vatican. You know, that big corridor is a boulevard. When you stand on the Vatican City, you look down, you see San Michelangelo on the left-hand side. On the left side, as you go up to Vatican, there's a little passage. And they've dug into the mountain behind the Vatican, and they built the most elaborate car park, bus stop to bus people in. You don't see it in Vatican. Not many people know about it. When you stand on the in front of Vatican, look on the left side. You have it like a mountain, a hill. This hill is empty. They have dug into it. There's car parks and everything to bring people in. When you come out of the car park, just to come to the end and you see the Vatican, it's all windows and homeless people, hungry, in window sills. Go to the left, the bridge is full of cardboard boxes, hungry people. Then go around the Vatican toward the upper side of Vatican, on the other side of Vatican. Go there at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. You see nothing but prostitutes, naked, more or less. Every night, rain, shine. They collect money for the Vatican, but Vatican doesn't give it to the poor people on the left side. I said to one of these homeless people, why did you go on that side of the Vatican? You make a lot of money. He said, I don't look good and I'm a man. This is the story of Vatican. This is the story of religion. Robbing and not giving. No woman should sell herself on one side, and no man should go hungry on the other side. All stops in the middle. But who are they stealing it for? This is my biggest question. Who are taking all these monies for? Themselves. Nobody else. And this is where the soul pays. This is where no physical dimension, Dr., Professor, Mrs., Madam doesn't count. I remember my emotion when I saw this in Vatican, in Rome, the first time. I said, this is impossible. This is Vatican. How can these girls be naked, stripped naked on the street next to the... Oh, they pay. They work for Vatican. Their pimp is Pope. Otherwise they can't operate. You go to Italy and get the driver take you around the whole of the Vatican City at night. You see hunger on one side and prostitution on the other side, and one gets and that one doesn't pay anything out. Any other question?
From anonymous attendee in our Q&A. Mr. Keshe, can you let us know what the Russians are actually doing in the plasma field? How far advanced are they?
Extremely advanced. The Russian space technology is extremely advanced, and especially in plasma. Very, very advanced. I'm hoping to bring at least, if the government allows, a couple of dozens of them into the space center. It's a big bargain with Russians. I've dealt with them long enough. It's a big bargain. They want to come to learn to take. The Chinese, they're sitting in us anyway, in New Space City, trying to bring space scientists from Iran, negotiating with 2 or 3 other governments. Zone free, come and take, don't steal but share. And it's very hard for a scientific world to do. But we get there. Gradually we get there. Russians in space technology are 20 years ahead of America, minimum. Chinese are catching up. But I said to a member of CPC very recently said, you know something, you're Africans. I said, you're doing exactly what is happening in Africa. He said, why are you comparing us to the Africans? I said, listen, in Europe, in America, they put all these cables down. They haven't got their money back, so they are not so good in wireless telephones and all the apps. In Africa, they never had it. Now they got it and they have the latest and they work the fastest. All the thing comes up. You Chinese are the same. You didn't have it. And now your scientists stole everything from everywhere, put it in. But now, some of them, they had no ground. So they come up with totally new ideas, which does not connect to what they came with the cables. It's like a new mobile phone. Everything is in it. This is what we see in China now. We don't see new scientists. And that's why everything comes out of China is suddenly amazing, whatever. The Chinese educated people now, they have a zero ground. They can't create them a zero ground. You have to understand how it works there. And now the new scientists come up with something which in the West we are forced to accept. They don't accept. They say, this is what I think, and the government gives them ground to do it. Look at the new AI, look at the new computers, look at the new chips. And in the West, they shout, they haven't stolen anything from the West. The new, because it's new, it's like our technology, it brings a new dimension. Because you didn't think of it, you didn't put in a pattern. Now it's not yours because you can't copy the pattern. I keep on telling the Chinese, don't patent anything. Just develop it and keep it inside. And we see that because they don't follow the rules, they make new rules. Making a new rules leads to new discoveries, new ways of doing things, and much efficient. And the new generation in Chinese universities are very receptive to this. Very receptive. The old generation of Tesla said this, Einstein said this, to the wall. I say this, and I try. It works, government supports. This is what you see in our research centers. I don't want old people. We want the young people with the new ideas. Come in, try. You fail. We accept. Failure is part of success. And this is what has to happen. New grounds for new way of looking at it. Not sticking to stupid Einstein and a bunch of Jewish people telling us this is the law. There is no law in the physics. You understand it becomes your law. Works. It means you understood the creation. Doesn't need patent. God never sent any patent. Can you imagine how many patent flights would have been to Earth? Send patents in that they can't copy? He doesn't have a patent. We don't patent it. We deliver it. We bring it as a technology and the rest benefit by it. Patenting is for pedophiles and thieves. They get benefits from both sides of it. Any other question? Okay, thank you. See here, we're getting close to the end of questions, but we had a question from Richard. Richard in the YouTube about, says, Mr. Keshe mentioned something last week about the people who bought the cosmic ray balls, and you said that you had done something to them, but they did not know what. Can you say more about that? No, I have to be corrected. Apparently I've just been told that they produce some 20-30 cosmic ray balls still left. Or they produce the batch I wasn't aware of. So if you want, it's not the last one thing, about 20, and that'll be it. We don't produce any more of it. I think there is a few left, which I didn't know. So I'm wrong, I was wrong. And if you need it, I'll be it with the end of the process. Because we need whatever we produce for our systems. There's not much I can tell you about the cosmic ray because you have to understand the principle behind the production, and you're not in there, you don't see it. But on the other hand, it's part of the intention which goes in it, which is beautiful. One day I explain that, but the cosmic ray balls are the black holes of universe, as I call it, and your intention is the key to open. You have to understand the rest of it. Any other question?
A quick question. Can a pain pen be used to remove depression?
No. Depression is the energy psychological. Pain pens are built for physical. No way.
Okay. From Philip in the Q&A, Mr. Keshe, can you touch on solid light? I've seen a UFO shine a light outwards to the ground, and it stopped midair and retracted from the tip of the light back to the craft.
Good luck. You've been very lucky. Light has its own reflection, if you know how to play with it. Magnetic field has a reflection, if you know how to play with it. And you can do, but you have to know how to make it, yes. I can create a light which stops a meter, 100 meter or 10 centimeter from the torch or the source. And you say it doesn't exist, but it does. If you understand the what do you call the science behind it. You can do, and it's very easy. It costs 10 cents to do it if you want to make it. But man's knowledge is not that level. In the lab, we have developed light reflection. We can reflect the light in the essence of it in any shape or form and create them as energy material out of it. This machine is in the process of going through tests. Let's call it a day.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much indeed. And if you play the same video for your closing as what he had in outro, it shows changes, evolution of science and technology.
The intro video,
Yes.
the AI one?
So intro one, if you can play. The
Okay.
one from the center in China, and then we'll show you more next time.
Okay, that one.
This is done with all your support, and there is much more to come. Much more to come. And thank you very much for supporting us to be here, and I am always very open and say we need more support to go into the next level. See you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. All right, just let me get that movie lined up here. Just bear with me a second while I get things arranged in my background here. All right, well, thank you everyone for being here for today's 644th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. A big thanks to Mr. Keshe for another successful workshop here, and more knowledge of the universe, and we'll be picking it apart for some time, probably, as we do with all the workshops, and we'll probably have an AI version next week as well. So thank you again, everyone, for attending, and we'll be back again next week. And speaking of next week, our next public teaching workshop, get out our calendar. It's hard to believe, but it will be on June 2nd. Happens to be my birthday. Coming up on Tuesday, June 2nd, will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, starting at the 4 p.m. Central European time, Central European summertime even. All right. Guess that's it for now. And as Mr. Keshe mentioned, we'll go out with the video from the Chinese contingent. And bye for now, everyone. Bear with me a second here while I put the jumper cables on this video and get it jump started.